So what's the idea of this exhibition dedicated to Peter Hujar?
Sure. So this exhibition is a presentation of the complete set of photographs that were in his monograph, Portraits in Life and Death. And we really just tried to stick to Hujar's initial edit and plan and present the selection of photographs that were in the book on the wall. And this is the first time the complete series of these photographs have been presented together in Europe.
And it's very interesting because in the 60s, he does this photo in the catacombs of Palermo, and 10 years later, he makes this portrait of very vivid people, and he decides to mix the two.
Yes.
Is there a message?
I think so. I think that in the catacombs pictures, I think that he's really interested in the attempt to preserve a sense of life in death. And he photographs them extensively in '63 and then goes back to New York and really dives into his studio practice and making portraits. So I think that what he's seen in the catacombs and how he's thinking about framing comes to inform some of the portraits. So when it comes time to make the monograph, I believe that he's interested in the ways that photography can sort of bring out that tension and that ever-presence of death in life and that possibility of life and death and bring out the tension between the two.
So he's going to die in 87. It's like a premonition of his death 20 years earlier or a bit more.
I wouldn't say it's a premonition. I think that he just had an interest in life and its extremes, in death and in pleasure and in kind of the full spectrum and range of experience, and embraced death as a part of that. So I don't know if I would consider it a premonition, but maybe just
It's a bit too dramatic.
yeah, I think it's come to have poignancy and meaning to us now, looking back, but I think that he was just interested in the extremes of life and the body, and how much more extreme can you get than bringing those two things together in such stark contrast.
But what do you think he's trying to express in his portrait?
I think that Hujar perpetually sought to use photography as an art to get at something real and true about his subjects. He's also talked about how photography over the course of its history was often considered to be a medium that documented and froze a moment in time. And I think that he's interested in playing with that notion and that possibility of freezing a moment, and instead trying to use photography to create something that transcends the moment that he's experiencing with his subject, and he's talked about creating something entirely new out of the situation. So I think he really activates the magic of the camera to capture something unique that's happening between himself and his subject in the context of the
So
making
do
of the
we know
picture.
how he does that? Does he speak with the people? How does it work?
This is something that the closest I've gotten to understanding it is, in reading accounts of people who were photographed by him. Sometimes they'll say that he didn't exactly direct people, but sometimes he would give a person a prop, like a chair to sit on, and then take it away, and then photograph them after he had taken the chair away. So you see that in some of the contact sheets where, somebody will be sitting and then he'll take the chair, or somebody's reclining and, I think they're just, I don't think it's so much of him waiting for the perfect moment, but I think that through his way of being in the studio, he was able to sort of draw something really special out of his subjects.
And he was speaking to them a lot or not?
I don't get the sense that he spoke a lot as he was making photographs, but I would have to, I'd have to refresh my memory about accounts, but I don't get the sense that he was like kind of chatting continually.
No, it doesn't look like that in the photo.
No.
It looks like he is silent in a way.
Yeah.
Observing.
I think he's observing, but I do think that there is also, there's this interview in the Hujar archive where David Warnerovich is speaking to him and trying to get him to talk about his practice, and he sort of starts the interview by saying, "I'm not going to answer any questions about my practice." Like he's sort of, but then once they get to talking, there's this kind of great moment where he says, I don't just let my subjects sit there and when they get relaxed, I take their picture. There's an exchange that happens between us that results in that moment. And that's that's kind of what he says. But
okay.
yeah.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah.